All right, let's fire this up. Oh, the mohawk is crooked tonight, but that's okay. Nobody can see me yet. I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll have to edit this out for the YouTube part. Oh boy. Hey, there's people. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in early to episode 2 of Both Laugh. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Hi, Daniel. I haven't told everybody that you're next yet, but I will after this. And I made a flyer too. Um, Thanks for tuning in already, everybody that's here. We'll give Rob Rufus a couple minutes. Hopefully, you guys know who Rob Rufus is. Hey, there's Rob Rufus now. Uh, it's really cool that people check in like right at 7 o'clock. This is awesome. Let's see if I can get Rob up. Go live with Rob. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I think we got. Hey, there
Hey,
you are.
hey
How's it
man,
going?
it's going good. How are you?
Good. That wasn't so bad, huh? It's pretty
No,
easy.
I looked at it and was like, oh fuck, I have no. This kind of reminds me of I watched one of those Trump press conferences
Oh
on,
no.
well, like I was watching them, but then I watched one on YouTube, like with the live comments and shit,
Oh yeah.
and it was horrifying.
Yeah.
It
It
was a
is.
Trump 2020 and beyond. I'm going beyond. What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
No.
It the comment sections on anything are horrifying. Like I'm sure on this will be horrifying eventually,
Yeah.
a Trump press conference, the comments I can't imagine. Just
Oh,
it's all jackboots and
dude, they're fucking insane. Like, it's pretty scary.
ugh. Well, hopefully they're nice to us. I leave the comments on. We'll see how that goes. Uh, Not a
Oh,
lot of people say anything, but sometimes. So Brian Fallon's been doing these every like 2 nights a week, and
uh-huh.
he has to shut the comments off because it's just like first off, it's right over your face, so that's not really cool.
Right.
But if you have like ADD, I'd be just like reading the comments the whole time.
Yeah. No, I try to avoid that shit as much as I can, and then
Right.
get in a rabbit hole where I read like comment sections from 10 years ago. And
Oh,
yeah, I've done that before. I've read like old Blacklist Royals music video comments and been like, what
oh
the
no.
fuck? You know, if I'm feeling really self-deprecating, I'll go check them out.
If you're feeling too good about yourself, just go back and read the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. Anytime I need a reality check, I go to
Right.
the comment section.
Well, thanks for coming on this, especially this early in me figuring out what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah,
This is
dude,
pretty cool.
I'm stoked to talk to you, man. I hate we were supposed to be up there this month. Like,
I know.
I hate this shit.
I know you were finally supposed to be up here. And I remember, I feel like every year, either you or your brother would say something like, "Oh, we should be up next year. We should be up next year." And this year happened. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's
I,
finally here!" Like 7 years later or whatever, since I
I
think the last time Blacklist was here,
we
and then the world ended.
yeah, well, tentatively we're rescheduled for September, and I think I'm not supposed to probably announce this, but I think it'll be uh, Bad Signs and the Dead Boys, so that would be fucking cool.
Really,
Yeah, and I
that's
think
pretty awesome.
yeah, and I think Nat and I are gonna play in
Oh,
Dead
really?
in Dead Boys. Is their
Really?
band? Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. But their drummer's like way better at drums than me. So, like, and I never thought about that. Like when I listen to the Dead Boys,
Yeah,
I
right,
think about the guitar and I think about
right,
the singer doing all kinds of crazy shit. I didn't think of
right.
like 80s hair metal level drum that is like so way fucking beyond my pay grade. So, but that's been good for me. It's given me a reason to go play. you know,
Yeah, right.
my shit together. But yeah,
You get 5 months to figure it out, right? Hopefully.
hopefully, man. Luckily, like,
Who would?
yeah, luckily, cheetahs, they're fucking old. So, like,
Yeah, yeah, right.
if it's risky, like, we won't be.
Right.
Uh,
You, maybe they'll appreciate being a few beats per minute slower than normal if they
maybe
have to.
that would be, that's what I'm hoping for, actually. Uh,
Right.
that would be fucking ideal.
Right.
But
Um, who was the tour next month supposed to be with? Was it just you guys and a bunch of locals? Because you were going up to Pooza or something, right?
yeah, we were going up to Pooza and to do like we were doing like a showcase at Rough Trade in New York and shit. So
Okay.
that was just going to be us, just kind of to get us up to New York and Pooza. And I
Yeah.
was like, we thought, we knew we were, I was like, I did not want to cancel the fucking tour, like
Yeah. Right.
I, even when everybody was like, the tour is going to get canceled. And I was really like waiting. I wanted to wait till Pooza canceled it to cancel.
Yeah.
And, but, after a while, you could see that like everybody was so fucked
Yeah.
and all shows were going to just be canceled for who knows how long.
So when did that was the decision to cancel the tour itself, aside from Pooza, left up to you guys? Or did all the venues come to you and say, "Hey, we're not putting it on"?
Really, I mean, it was like it was like once a couple of the venues were like, we're shutting all these shows down, and it became like really self-evident, like our new the label and management company we're working with had really like crunched the numbers and gone, dude, it's not
Yeah.
worth losing thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to go
Right.
play with and have like half like two shows a week or whatever
Right.
to go do a fucking festival, which
Right.
sucks. News is awesome, man. Like we played it the first year, I think, and it was really fucking cool. And there was like there the college kids were protesting like uh uh student loan or something, and like
Oh, really?
yeah, so there was all these marches and shit. And the weirdest, this is fucking weird. I'm just kill dead air with. So like, so like, we played Pooza Fest, and it's in Montreal. So
Yeah.
everybody, everybody had a merch guy assigned by like the venue that spoke French, and our merch guy was just like weird fucking dude. And Nat, my brother, our singer, uh, he had like his lounge wear that he'd wear like the van and stuff,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
his fucking like workout shorts and a cutoff shirt,
Yeah.
whatever. And so we played the show. We settled up with the weird merch guy, etc. And and then Nat was like, "Dude, have you guys seen my fucking workout shorts?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "All my lounge wear is missing." And I was like, "No." Dude, I bet that fucking guy took it. And we're like, why would anybody?
Why would you do that?
I
Yeah.
swear to fucking God, we were at a bar later that night and see this dude walk up wearing all that shit. The merch. So they go like, which is basically like pajamas.
Yeah. Right.
Brace this guy for his pajamas. Give me that fucking pajama shirt back. Like, and he did. But it was so fucking weird.
I wonder if that's like his thing. Like because I know some merch guys, and shout out to any of them that are watching, but some of them are a little
Yeah,
strange.
yeah.
I wonder if that's his thing, though.
And I've definitely toured with people that like when we'll crash with people, they'll steal something random.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I knew a guy that would steal, back when CDs existed, he would steal Operation Ivy CDs.
Like that one specifically?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and which I've always thought was like, fuck, dude.
Right,
Anybody that's like, okay, this person's letting a bunch of strangers sleep on their floor, and
right.
their first thought is like, I need to steal some shit. Kind of suck, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
seriously. Right. Plus, good luck trying to find an Op Ivy CD somewhere now.
no shit, dude. I met their drummer one time at a skate shop in Lake Tahoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was weird
Like
as
working there or?
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Also a drummer that I could never. He's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
good too, man.
Have you seen any of the videos? Matt Freeman's been posting videos of himself walking through like Op Ivy songs on his Instagram page. Oh, it's
No,
so awesome.
that's
So awesome.
see,
Yeah.
that's fucking cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
um, it's it's cool what some people are utilizing their time for, you know, right now.
Yeah.
But
Right.
there's a lot of like, I think famous people are bored as shit because
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've heard of that like Cameo app where like
Oh, yeah.
famous people will go, "Hey, Jason,
Right.
dude, this is fucking Idris Elba or whatever."
Right.
I just think that's strange. I just think it's so fucking strange.
That is weird. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have heard of it. I thankfully have never received one, but
Well, fingers crossed. Next birthday,
yeah.
probably won't
Right.
be Idris Elba. It'll be some fucking C-list celebrity, but
Right.
I'll see what I can do.
um, so let's talk about the book, which I happen to have here. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about because uh, I bought this at the Barnes and Noble in Burlington, Massachusetts on March 11th, the day it came out, and then, or 10th, March 10th, I guess. And then, like, the world ended the next day.
Yeah,
Like, that was literally the last day you could go to the bookstore and buy a book, as it turned out.
yeah. It hasn't been an ideal fucking
Yeah.
uh, like yeah. This all happened, and I hit up my publisher like, hey, I was like, there must be some way to like people are stuck at home, right? Like
Yeah.
some way to like utilize like try to see an angle in this. And then it was like,
Right.
oh, there's nobody even in the office. so
Oh, I didn't think of that.
so yeah, like I really it makes me feel for bands and other authors that were in my position, like, because it sucks and like it's just that's fucking life, but
Right.
because it takes you so long to work on this one thing, you know, like, um, but luckily it's an easy time to keep shit in perspective,
Well, yeah.
you know, and
Well, you had the tornado go through Nashville like the week before it came out, right?
yeah, it was fucking yeah. So the book release was going to be a week early, the release
Yeah.
party, and it was like this really cool. The bookshop here was doing this really cool party where everybody's going to bring a record and like everybody would listen to records and talk about the records, and we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
membership buttons that you get, and then
Yeah.
the tornado happened, and like that was too fucked up to do like the next day,
Right.
like, and luckily my place was fine, but you know I had a lot of friends that were like Devin from Blacklist, his
Yeah.
house was destroyed. He woke up to his roof coming off.
Whoa.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just fucking terrible, man. Like him and his wife got out of the house, but like it was really surreal. Dirk and everybody,
Yeah,
Oklahoma City and places like that. After seeing one tornado, I'm like, what the fuck is the appeal? No offense to
seriously.
what from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
What the fuck, dude?
No, I know.
No, like this is not worth it.
No.
Like,
Although I feel like they come more frequently to Tennessee now. Because we were down in Memphis last year, and there was a nasty storm that came through the weekend we were there, and there were like deadly tornadoes within a couple of hours, like northern Mississippi, I think. So
yeah,
I feel like Tornado Alley is shifting to the
right.
east.
That's fucked up, but I think you're right. Like, and I'm sure, over the next 10 years, we're going to see like natural disaster zones shift,
Oh
like,
yeah,
which fucking sucks.
yeah,
But if we survive that long, that's worry,
exactly.
worry about it then. Yeah.
If we make it, yeah. So did the bookshop that you were going to have the event at? Did they get hit by the tornado, or did they dodge it too? Or
They dodged it, but it was just like it was just so sporadic that it was like the shop was fine, but then like a house across the street would be like destroyed.
yeah,
Like a house 2 doors down is like destroyed. So it was just like too fucked up of a situation, to like have a party.
right, right.
And we were like, fuck it, we'll just push it back. And then this happened. So
Because at that point, I mean, even though we're only talking about like a week really between the tornado and the whole COVID-19 shutdown thing, it
yeah,
didn't seem like that was on the table at that point.
yeah, no, it really, it was like, it's a trip. A lot can happen in a fucking week, man.
In a week, yeah,
Like, and so, yeah, it was like, that seemed like I mean, that was the right thing to do either way,
yeah,
I hate public speaking and shit. Anyway, so like, that's fine with me.
right,
um, yeah, it sucks, man. And I really feel there's a lot of people here that like got double fucked because
right.
they lost their houses and or jobs, and then this
Yeah.
happened. They're like just majorly fucked.
Because people can't really rebuild now, right? I mean, everybody has to wait until things
Yeah,
open back up. Or
I,
has Tennessee opened up?
I, Tennessee's opening up. Like they've started opening up this week, but Nashville is because our governor is a fucking idiot, and
Yeah,
Nashville is the mayor's kind of like holding back on that,
yeah,
uh, which I'm glad.
yeah, right.
But it's been weird because I never really. I mean, there's always things you think about, like when you live in a red state like this, like,
Yeah,
okay, women's health care is going to be shit on.
yeah,
There's never going to be medical marijuana,
yeah,
etc. But like, this is the first time I've really gone like, is this somewhere I want to fucking
yeah,
live? Because if
right.
the governor is this like try to suck Trump's dick from 1,000 miles away,
Right,
don't know about like opening shit up when it's not
right,
ready to up. Like, it's fucking scary, man. I feel like for people, somebody like me that has like, it's like a really high risk. Like,
right.
I straight up like, I don't leave my fucking house,
Yeah.
you know? So it sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, how is the governor approaching things? Because, like, if the mayor of Nashville is like, no, we're not really going to open up, is the governor sort of forcing them, or is he backing? Are they backing off? Because I don't know who your governor is, but
That,
are
that,
they?
that I don't know yet. Like, this just kind of started like this week. So
Oh, okay.
I, I'm, I'm, I'm curious to see if he tries to like force them to open up or what.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of dependent upon like if your city's big enough to have its own health department, and not like the state health department. But at
Gotcha.
the same time, I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. So just
I
fair.
I wouldn't know either way, so I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
so, like, I may be completely wrong about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been very fucking weird.
Well, so let's talk about good things. Let's talk about the book. Congratulations on it, by the way, because the book is really, really cool. I like it a lot.
Thank
And it's very, I think if anybody knew the first book and they go to pick up this one, just knowing your name, it's a very different book.
Yeah.
So where did this idea come from?
Uh, it actually came from, like I'm a record collector and I bought an old Mamas and the Papas record. I bought a bunch of records one day and it was the Mamas and the Papas record though. I took it out and there was a fucking letter inside it from
Oh,
like
wow.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
And from like high school sweethearts who were like pairing
Wow.
record with they were like wanted to move to go to college or whatever, and they were like pairing their letters with a record, and I just thought it was so beautiful, and and I've always kind of like wanted to write about Vietnam because like I think I told you before, like my dad was a Vietnam vet. He was like in the fall of Saigon and all that shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like would never like to talk about it. So
Sure.
I've always been really interested in that period, just like learning
Yeah.
about it and and trying to get some secondhand knowledge of what he experienced. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I guess all that is kind of where I got the idea or the initial idea came from, and then and my literary agent, I'd been working on a different book actually, and my literary agent had really suggested I like write like a book that young adults could read because so much of the people that read Die Young with me ended up being like teenagers,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I'd had this idea and just kind of ran with it. But
If anybody,
even it was a trip. Like this, I must have started it like right around the time Trump got elected, or right around the time Trump became president, and like
no,
the social what's acceptable socially and like
right.
what is not has changed so much from like writing the book to like it going through editors, and it's just that was the whole everything with the book has been a very weird process, including the fucking release. So
Right. So why, I guess, why wouldn't the release be weird if everything up into it was?
exactly, like pretty much, which sucks, because I really was proud of the. I'm still proud of the book,
Yeah, you should be.
and I hope everybody that is watching this picks up a copy.
Like I said, because people check in and out, and so the book is called Vinyl Underground. That's what it looks like if you're able to go to a store. You can buy it on Amazon. It's on Amazon though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you have to go that route, go that route.
It's even
Um,
a book.
oh, is it?
Yeah, if you don't like to read.
Who did the audiobook?
Um, who read the audio? Like,
Yeah.
man, I forgot his fucking name.
Oh, okay.
But he was really good. He was like, I would be terrible at that. He was great. and they did a really cool job. Like they like incorporate music into the audiobook, and like
Oh, wow.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, because
Yeah,
music is a very big part of the book. If anybody hasn't read it, it is set in 1968, smallish town, northern Florida, and it's about four kids that are seniors in high school and dealing with the ramifications of maybe having to go to Vietnam. I don't want to give, never really done like a live book discussion before, so
Yeah.
I forget kind of how much to give away and how much to pull back. But
I,
I don't think I gave anything away there.
no, I think you're straight.
but but music is a very big part of it, and there's this concept of the older brother leaving letters for the younger brother in records that
Right.
he leaves behind. And where did you, so how much homework did you have to do to get the time period right? Because as I think I texted you a few days after I read it, like it sounds to me like you got the time period right.
Yeah, I did a lot, and it's fucking jarring, like,
Yeah.
and I think
This is my kid. She's saying hi.
I, I think I got it pretty right on. Like, I've had a couple like Vietnam vets who've told me I did, and were
Yeah.
really stoked on it. So, um, but yeah, it took a lot of research and a lot of like of just facts that were a fucking bummer, you know, to
How
learn.
did you do the research? Did you talk to people, or
Yeah,
did you read, or
I read a lot of books. Like, I'd already read a lot of books about Vietnam, um, but I read a lot of books. I My dad helped me with it a lot, which was cool because, like I said, my dad all my life had never really liked to talk about that, and I
right?
kind of through having him help me with the research and like even just the schematics, like, okay, if you were stationed at this base and were flying to Saigon, where would you go?
Yeah.
Go here and then here and here. And but he really helped me a lot with the book. Um, and like documentaries and just different like old newspaper articles, old magazine articles, um, all of which were really true. Like, it's really
Yeah.
weird. Hindsight's such a strange thing, and it's really weird to like look back at some of that stuff and go, what?
Yeah.
And
Right.
and uh, and I don't think. Oh, another reason I read the book. Maybe this will get some annoyed comments, but one of the things that struck me so much about when Trump was elected president was people were protesting after the fucking election. And
Yeah.
when you see the numbers of how many fucking people, especially young,
Right.
didn't vote at all,
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Like, late reaction is inaction. This is
Right.
doing nothing.
Right.
Like, it's helping no one, and it's fucking. You just let this fucking. I'm like, boos sound like cheers from the penthouse where these fucking people live. Like, they don't
Right.
care. And it was just really jarring to me. And so I really wanted to write about a time when like that wasn't really an option. Like, there wasn't really an option just to like tweet about something. There was
Yeah.
no like there was no there was no couch
Yeah.
activist. Like,
Right.
you're either fucking all about it or you weren't, and you were just
Yeah.
sitting idly by. And like, what people do now is tantamount to the same thing, except like you can check that little button off in your head that's like, I did something, even if it wasn't fucking vote or something like
Yeah.
pragmatically that might help, you know. But
Right.
and so that really was kind of at the forefront of my mind when I worked on the book, because I was just so like, what the fuck, guys? I was just there was such that was just such a jarring
Yeah, yeah.
thing, like for everybody I know. But anyway, that's the end of my tangent about that. But
Oh no, you can keep going. That's fine.
I should I should
Uh, well, I'll be drinking bleach by the end of this. So
do. I mean, what the living fuck? But
seriously, as weird as it seemed like things were 3.5 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because when Trump got elected, everybody was like, he's gonna cause a fucking huge disaster. He's gonna start a war. He's gonna set off a fucking.
Right.
And I was kind of shocked that none of that happened. And then
Yeah.
then he comes in at the last minute with like, oh yeah, there's a national virus pandemic and this fucking moron is in charge of
Right.
it. Like
Right.
my thought is like, why tell people not to drink bleach? Like, if you just let all the fucking morons that believe
Right.
this guy do it,
Right.
take
Let Darwin be right. Yeah.
right, take them off the board and like fucking that'll solve
Right.
problems. God damn.
Amen.
You say, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but
Listen,
sorry.
you're not the only one who has said that.
I
Let the
let them drink bleach.
if you were prone to listening to him, fine, do it. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, my publicist is watching. Sorry.
Natural selection, whoever said that is exactly right.
But but I'm
Well,
so
back
book, man.
back to the lead up to writing the book, not just the homework you had to do, but it seems like because Vietnam is recent enough and because your dad was there's got to be a real um, real close attention paid to making sure that it comes across right and making sure you get the facts right. And like you can't write a Civil War. You could write a Civil War history book, and
Right.
if you round some of the corners, nobody cares because everybody's been dead for 150 years.
Right.
But but Vietnam is such a touch point or a flashpoint sort of argument for a lot of people still. People
Yeah.
your dad's age, my dad's age, that you have to get those things right.
It was especially the stuff like what was really hard to research, and what I did have to like kind of more like talk to people about was the process of going through a draft exam. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't know if that was giving away too much. But yeah,
but just really like technical stuff that they don't do anymore, and that wasn't really. I mean, there was not a lot of like articles and shit about that because it was just what was normal at the time.
right,
So
right.
so yeah, it was hard, and I was definitely nervous as fuck to like have people that were around at the time, either in the States or especially served in Vietnam,
Yeah,
get like the detail and like the mood of the country, right?
yeah,
And yeah, so I've gotten only positive feedback from Vietnam vets
that's
and
cool.
stuff, but yeah, well, we shall see. And hopefully it stays that way, but you never fucking know.
Right. Yeah, I like I texted you whenever the day or so after I read it. It sounded to me like it was a very realistic book, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, thanks, man.
it's obviously a work of fiction, but you can very easily put yourself into the conversations they're having in the bedrooms or the conversations they're having about certain records too. Because even though we're 20 or 30 years younger than those kids, it's the same sort of behavior that we might have engaged in 20 or 30 years later, just even
Yeah,
with records or CDs or whatever. So
yeah,
it feels real.
Yeah,
even though I wasn't there.
no, I really appreciate that. Yeah, because I feel like while I couldn't put myself in that headspace necessarily, like a lot of the things those kids would have had to go through,
Yeah,
it's really all about uncertainty and we're living in very uncertain times right now. To me,
yeah,
like that era is so fucking relevant now, and it was a shame. So many editors and different publishers were like, nobody cares about Vietnam right now,
mm,
and I'm like, they sh- they should.
yeah,
You're the gate, like they
right,
should,
right,
like because there's so many parallels, and it's such a fucking tightrope of a time that that actually that's the reason I've been watching those Trump press conferences is because during my researching the book,
yeah,
I would be watching like Nick when the Pentagon Papers came out and Nixon and then Watergate happened and Nixon was like drinking super heavily and he was doing
yeah,
like
yeah,
crazy press conferences like in
yeah,
the middle of the night and shit
right,
where he'd be like very obviously drunk and like firing random and I would be
right,
like this is kind of amazing like it
yeah,
really is such a shame that our president now can tweet his craziness because it doesn't seem as crazy. Like if
yeah,
you saw
right,
him in person, I think people
right,
would be like, "This guy is a fucking crazy person."
right,
And but now that he's doing these press conferences, he every once it's like a hit or miss. Either I
yeah,
turn and it really makes me sad, or I turn it on and he's saying some crazy shit that I can at least go, okay. When
right.
Trump, when he sounds like an adult, that's when I really get nervous because I'm
Oh, absolutely.
like that's fucking scary, man.
But it's also like that he's this close to going off the rails, and so it's a matter of like how long is he going to be able to walk this tightrope before he has to just throw the notes away and go, fuck,
Yeah, my hope
before
is
the Adderall kicks in. And
yeah, my yeah, you can tell which days he's skipped his Adderall. He has.
totally, yeah.
My my hope is that he has a fucking aneurysm on live TV. Like,
I, there are a lot of things that I'm surprised haven't happened yet, and that's one of them. Like
well, there's
how
so
is he still functioning?
dude, he's fucking Teflon, man. Let me move.
Apparently,
I'm like
apparently,
bright white. Okay.
it's all good.
But yeah, man, it was a lot of research, uh, and I appreciate that because I'm glad I at least got it somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah, totally. And I think especially for kids of my generation, our generation, like the book probably means something because it's something that our parents went through.
Yeah,
And like you said, a lot of them don't want to talk about it. My dad, thankfully, when he watches this tomorrow, didn't have to go, which was good because he was just too young. But there's a lot of people whose parents won't talk about it or can't talk about it or were treated like such garbage when they came back that
right.
those memories are way repressed. If or so, it sort of allows for that conversation and allows us to be kind of in their shoes a little bit.
Yeah, and that definitely was. My dad would talk to me about how people just were fucking hated him when he got back.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when all he had was his uniform to wear,
right,
uh, and uh, and he gets so like rolls his eyes about like the narrative now is completely shifted, uh, and a lot of people don't know that was the case.
right,
And yeah, it was like terrible people the really terrible people are the ones like the anger should be. I feel like it's misplaced a lot of the time. Like people should be angry at this pulling the strings more so than those at the end of them. Um,
Right. Absolutely.
but but you know, live and learn and history or don't, and history fucking
Or don't. Exactly.
you know.
Right. Right. Have you gotten much feedback from the book yet? I mean, aside from you said that there's some Vietnam era folks that think you got it
Yeah,
right, but have people
yeah,
actually started to be able to buy it and read it?
yeah. People have been. I've got a lot of really nice messages that have really I've really appreciated, and you know, a lot of the reviews, most of which were positive, which was cool. And so I, I got, I've got some people have caught like a typo or something like that, which, okay, that's the game for everybody. Go through all the fucking band names.
Yeah.
Tell me where the typo is. Cause yeah, I got a message about that and was like, fuck. uh,
At
but
least they're reading it, right?
yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Uh, so but it's been positive overall, which has been cool, and a lot of my readers are have stayed over with me from Die Young with me, which is great, and they're all fucking awesome.
It's a different publisher this time. Is
Yeah,
knowing nothing about the publishing world. Is it sort of like shopping an album on a label? Is it the same sort of
yeah,
process? Or?
yeah. It is like like there'll be like a big like it's really a lot like a major like my last record my my last book essentially was out on like a major label, so it's like a big
Yeah.
corporation with uh with then like little
Yeah.
whatever little smaller publishing umbrellas underneath it, and
Yeah.
so yeah, you have to take it around the different editors at each of these umbrellas, and then and by the time it was done and we were taking it around, a lot of this people were my Simon and Schuster, my publisher, was really more guilty of it than a lot of publishers were uh, pulling books that got negative comments on Twitter would just pull the book, and like
Really?
really this was really right when people started being hyper aware, like hyper vigilant to like we don't want to. Sorry, we don't want to like
That's like,
say anything that could offend anyone in any way, and like that's fucking hard when you're writing about Vietnam,
right.
like the '60s in the South. You know, like
Right.
there's no real way for me to
Right.
know none of the characters if say anything. If I'm writing it accurately, there's no way
Mm-hmm.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And and even one of the reviews I got was harped on that I like would spell out negative or like the antagonist might say something racist, and then I would like
Yeah. Yeah.
actually write it out on the paper.
Right.
Like, well, I can't leave a blank space, you know, like if people don't, that's the reality of the world, and I don't know how I don't know how anybody can uh, build empathy towards anything if you shelter yourself, you know, from the
Right.
world and the reality that people fucking suck. And like, this is what I think, this is what they say.
Well, because I don't think it came across as gratuitous. Like you
Yeah,
weren't like
I
propping up the people who talk like that.
no,
The reality is the people talk like that.
Yeah, and maybe since I'm from the middle of nowhere, that's like a fact I've accepted more than some people.
Right.
Um, but anyway, so yeah, it was a weird time to be taking the book around, and Flux, who published it, is was really cool and supportive, and my editor Kelsey was awesome and really, and she was very attuned to that kind of stuff, you know, and really helped me make it as un make it make it troubling topics as palatable as possible. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
it's not an easy task, but that's why I have a fucking editor.
Now that you've got two books under your belt, which one was harder to write? Because they're both stories you want to get right, and they're both stories you want to. Granted, one of them was yours, so it's tough to get it wrong. But I think sometimes when it's your story as well, you also want to make sure that it's relatable to other people, which you
Yeah,
did very well, as you know. But which
that
one was harder to write?
I mean that Diane with Me, my first book, was harder to write just really because I didn't know how to write. Um, and it took me probably 6 years to write it, and I really kind of had to learn as I go along. Like I didn't go to school for that or anything, and I really
Mm.
and the first draft of it was like 8 or 9. It looked like a suicide bomber manifesto. Like I, I fucking took it to
Like
Kika
Ted Kaczynski.
and
Yeah.
get it in it. It was like this thick. I still remember that I got it printed. It took forever, and the guy was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, is this a book?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's first draft of my book. I'm going to use it to do editing." Um, and he was like, "Cool. When you're going to self-publish it?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to get it on a publisher." And he's just like, "Hey, when you self-publish it, bring me in a copy." And I'm, fuck. And
That's funny.
and yeah, so it was definitely a process.
Did you ever go back to him with an actual published copy?
No, no, fuck that. I give enough books away. He
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
buy one.
Right.
But yeah, that one was definitely harder to write. I mean, it's different, you know, and even since then, like the more I it's like learning how to play music, like, and this is what I'll tell people about writing is like it's gonna fucking suck until it doesn't. Like
Yeah, yeah,
learning it, learning an instrument, like uh, fucking sucks, and it's not
yeah,
fun. And you got
yeah.
to practice, and practicing sucks, and the whole thing sucks. But then, like one day when you can like sit and play a song,
Right,
fuck, this is cool. And
right. Until you have to learn Dead Boys songs, and then it's
yeah, exactly, exactly. And like, and so the second book, like, I think it was easier just because I kind of got some idea what the fuck I was doing.
yeah,
Um, but it was definitely in my memoir. I was very much more like I don't give. I'm not a fucking journalist. I'm trying.
yeah, yeah,
I was always very adamant about like trying to craft a narrative story and not like and focus on that more than focusing on like accuracies about even like timing, time when, what month did this happen, what whatever. Whereas in Vinyl Underground, I had to be like super hyper aware of all that
yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah. Right,
because any kind of inaccuracy in the
right.
story whole story is going to be like fucked up.
Right.
And so it was definitely different, but it was fucking easier for sure.
So before this kicks us off, because it'll kick us off after an hour so that I can save it. Uh, what are you working on now?
uh,
Are you going to go back to write the book that you were working on before you started writing this one?
I have a third book that's already done that my agent's taking around, and Die Young with Me script is done, and the movie version of that in,
Oh, right.
is in development still. And I've written a couple other scripts that are like floating around. And I can tell you, and we're working on my band Bad Signs. Just had a new single, White Rabbit, come out, and
Right.
we're working on a full length record right now. Black
Nice.
Blacklist Royals is working on it full length, and I can go ahead and tell you because it's going to be announced tomorrow. But Blacklist is doing like a 10th anniversary show at Fest this year in
Oh,
Florida.
really?
So we're really excited about that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and we're gonna have like
Well, double fingers crossed that it happens, but
me too, man. Like we're really so excited about doing it, and but I'm just trying to stay busy. Like I'm working on a TV show pilot right now, actually, while
wow.
my while my new book's floating around. But I'm pretty much just like I got it. If I don't just keep working, then I
Yeah.
take a moment and feel the crushing weight is smothering me, and
Yeah.
like
Right.
I
Right.
I try to avoid that at all costs.
Was the movie of Die Young with Me is a Netflix thing? Did I see that they're attached to it? Or?
Yeah, and we started filming some stuff this past summer, and we're actually I can't get into a lot of it, but we're changing a couple things up, uh, and everything we have, everything we're switching around is really exciting. It's going to be really fucking cool, and finally, kind of rolling past the like development stage, so like the
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
So it's a very like surreal like process,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and it's fucking weird, but but it's also really exciting, and like um, one of the reasons I wrote that book was because books like The Fault in Our Stars and like
Yeah.
these
Right.
self-help books like Bad Hair Day, how prayer and pasta got me through breast cancer,
Yeah.
were coming,
Right.
and I was just like, this is such trite bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah.
so unrealistic, and like I said, like people aren't going to empathize with anybody if they don't get accurate representation of what they're going through.
Right.
So I really, with the movie too, I've really been want to make it as raw and
Yeah.
rated R as it can be. Uh, and I'll get notes from producers like, "There's too much puking in this." Because I'm like, "No, there's fucking puking in this." And Nat, my brother, will be like,
Yeah.
"When's the fucking last time you saw somebody puke in a movie? There's got to be puking." And I'm like, "This has been a big debate. If there's too," I'm like, "There's got to be puking. Like that's one of my stipulations." Uh, the fucking exorcist. but, but
Right.
that was fucking reality, man. Like that's
Yeah.
what,
Right.
that's what it's like to go through that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's I've been able to stay super busy with that, and I really am probably more suited for the pandemic life than most because I feel like staying
Right.
inside, being a
Right.
fucking hermit.
Right.
But yeah, I have I'm trying to juggle a lot of shit right now and just trying not to stop and think about anything.
I mean, that's good, right? That's good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to
Like,
work on music. I've never been so ready to go play some fucking punk rock as I am right now, you know. So I'm excited as fuck to be working on new Blacklist stuff and
I'm excited for that too. It's been a
and
long time.
man, we've had stuff recorded for years and we just that's been a thing like
Yeah.
we're using a lot of the songs in the movie. And so
Oh,
like
okay.
the further the movie production got pushed back, the album would get
Yeah.
pushed back and but we're finally finalizing shit, so it's really exciting. Um
That's awesome.
yeah, and I'm sure I'll send you some tracks once I get
Yeah.
some.
Please do. I won't
Yeah,
share.
I will, man.
Um, before this cuts us off, thanks again for coming on. This is awesome.
Hey, thanks,
Uh,
dude. It's great to see you even over the
yeah, likewise.
Instagram.
Say hi to your brother for me. I haven't talked to him in a bit, but say hi to
Well,
him for me. Hope he's well.
I will.
And hopefully September. I'll keep
Yeah,
my fingers crossed.
man. I'm keeping mine crossed too, dude.
Right,
Yeah, so you guys stay safe.
right. Same to you. Be
Yeah,
well, ma'am.
will do, man. I'll
Thank
talk.
you. Sounds good.